Now, I guess we're live. Yeah, I guess we're live, I guess. So, hey everyone. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be ranking all the 2021 movies I've seen, which isn't a lot, to be honest. I have not seen very many because I don't know. I just haven't, I haven't seen many. I haven't seen Judas and the Black Messiah. I haven't seen Eternals. There's so many I have not seen. I guess I'm gonna see if the mic quality works pretty well. Just give me a second. That's weird. My phone just rang. Okay, so now it started audio decently. Oh, that's weird. I can't hear myself. Can you guys hear me? Or is it not working? Okay, let's see. Is the volume not up enough? Is that the problem? Well, that's up too much. Let's just put it right there. Okay. Well, that just turns my camera off. Like I should have saw that coming. Let's see. Does the this is not going to see if the mic works. Hello? Hello? Okay, yeah, they're not. Yeah, I see it. It's working. It's working. Okay. So, I got to turn this camera on. Hold on a second. Let's see. Okay, that's not what I want to do. I got to turn the camera on. Sorry, I haven't used this in a while. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're going to be ranking every single 2021 movie I've seen. Yeah, no one really kind of gives a crap about this. I'm just kind of doing this out of nowhere because, well, I don't know. I feel like it. I feel like doing this. I want to do this. This is what I want to do, So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do exactly this. So, yeah, enough with awkward pauses. I guess we'll just get into it. So, number 16. Bottom of the Barrel. The worst movie I've probably seen this year. Black Widow. I honestly have no idea where to start with this movie. If I'm being completely honest. Okay, I'm just going to make sure I have everything. Okay, so if I'm being completely honest, Black Widow, it's just another Marvel movie, and it makes me angry. I think that's why I dislike it so much, because it's just a movie that frustrates me, because it's so generic, it's so bland, and it's too long for what it is that I just hated every second of it because of that. I've said this before, but it has a Fast and Furious level ending that was so utterly dumb. Like, I know Marvel movies can be corny sometimes. They can be cheesy. They can be ridiculous. But what was the ending to this movie? What was the third act? It mind boggled me that they chose such a stupid third act, It's just such a dumb, ridiculous way to have a third act for your movie. There were like cars flying and stuff like that. Like, it felt like something from Fast and Furious. I don't know how to describe it really. It just felt like that. That's what I thought when I watched it, and that's how my initial reaction will always be because this could have been decent. This could have been good, but it wasn't good. It was so bland. It was so boring that I just can't really forgive it for that. It took away like what 2.5 hours of my entire life. I lost 2.5 hours of this because this is what I got in 2.5 hours. It's just disgusting. It's just tasteful. And I know I use words like this a lot. I know I use them a ton, and you'll see me use these words for a couple other movies, I'd say. But it really is just bland and dull, and it makes me angry because of Marvel. I worry they're gonna go in this direction where they might have like a good movie or two. They might have like one good movie, but then there's like movies like this, that are just so bland, so incredibly dull, so lifeless that it baffles me. And this movie is all over the place with the pacing. Don't even get me started on how bad the pacing is. The way it goes from one point to another, it's just like because there's at the beginning, I think there's like an action sequence or something, and then there's like a flashback, and then there's uh, and then there's another long conversation or something like that. And then like, I know that's kind of how movies are structured, somewhat, but the way it's structured in Black Widow specifically is kind of very much a cluster. And I think because of that, I have to put it here. It's not a very good movie. Not what I would recommend. Black Widow is just a bland movie, and people have already stopped talking about it. If we're being honest, like let's be honest, who has really talked about Black Widow in the last couple of months? Nobody. Nobody cares about Black Widow anymore. You want to know why? Because it became a forgettable MCU project. Not just because Spider-Man No Way Home came out. Believe me, we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But Black Widow it just really just ruined the Marvel experience for me. And it kind of made me lose hope in Marvel. And I was even less excited for No Way Home. Good news was I wasn't disappointed with that. So. Okay. Okay. Hi, Tyron. Finally another stream. What's up with the audio? What is up with the audio? I thought the audio was fine. Is it quiet or something? Like, can you hear anything, or is it just too? Is it quiet? Oh. Did I have it on mute the whole time? Please do not tell me I had it on mute. Sorry, I just got this mic like a couple days ago, so I'm kind of working out how to use it. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up on my phone and see if the audio quality seems fine. Let's see. Okay, live. No, it doesn't pop up yet. Give me a second. Let's see. Oh, okay. Now it sounds good. Okay. Oh, I'll still hear it anyways because I want to. Oh, it sounds like. Oh, I thought it sounded better. Oh, that's disgusting. What the heck is wrong with this mic? Why do I have such bad luck with mics? That sounds god awful. Why does it sound like I'm under the Marina trenches? Jeez. Should I redo? I honestly want to redo that with how disgusting that sounded. I wanted to vomit. Like, I actually can't listen to that. Ugh! That is nasty. That is absolutely disgusting. Okay. Well, okay, now it's not god awful. I guess that's good. It's not terrible now, I guess. So I guess that's a good thing. It's mediocre. I guess. I don't know what the heck's wrong, because this is supposed to be like one of the best mics ever, you know? And it... Wait a minute, I'll change the pattern. Give me a second. What the heck is this thing? Why doesn't it move? Okay, there we go. Maybe now it's not going to sound awful. I was in a voice chat with my friends on Discord last night, and my friend didn't like it. I can hear you, but it was static, but now it sounds good. Okay. Oh, I just noticed that you have as your number 15. Well, now it's like number 16. Yeah, no, it's number 16. I don't like it. So it's just a bland movie. It's soulless. Like, I don't think I've ever, like, seen a movie just so lifeless from the MCU, especially for the MCU standards, Like, it's just a bland movie. Hi, Gabriel. I don't know if you invite people to your stream, but I like to join. Yeah, sorry, man. This is just kind of like me, like, ranking, like, 2021 movies and stuff. Sometimes I invite people to streams, but not now. Sorry. Okay, next movie, A Quiet Place 2. Okay, let me put these away. Give me a second. Alright, A Quiet Place 2. I know this was probably my most controversial opinion out of every 2021 movie I've seen. And I know most people, like, really like it and stuff like that. And, like, that's fine, whatever. I hate this movie so freaking much. Or at least I used to. Now, I don't hate it as much the more I at least think about it. Because it doesn't deserve a half star, You know what? I'll even read you the stars. Because I don't hate this movie anymore. I was very angry because I was very disappointed. And normally my emotions get the best of my rating system. And if it's how I feel, that's what I'm going to give it, I felt like giving it a half star, so I gave it a half star. Now I'd give it like a 1 star, 1 or a half. I've logged it 3 times, jeez. I'm thinking about a 1 or a 1.5. It's still not good. It still frustrates me, but I don't think I strongly dislike it as much as I used to. I think I did overhate it. I'll admit it that much. But yeah, I don't, hate this movie anymore, I'd say. But I don't like it. I still don't think it's a good movie. It still makes me mad because the reason why I disliked it so much at first, because it was a cheap sequel to me. I still will forever call it a cheap sequel, and I don't think I'll ever call anything more than that. This movie wasn't supposed to happen originally. There wasn't supposed to be A Quiet Place 2, but then that's when the bag came, and that's when the studio came in, and they wanted to make a sequel. And then John Krasinski did. And I think John Krasinski made something that was, I guess, an overall fine product. The cinematography is pretty good. John Krasinski has potential as a director. But the reason why I gave it such a low rating at first was because as an overall movie, it's worthless. It's absolutely worthless. And I know there's going to be a third one. You want to know why? Because there's a cliffhanger. It makes this movie just feel kind of like nothing, Like, I didn't need to watch this. I didn't really get much from this. It doesn't really add upon the first one in really any way. So to me, it's a worthless movie. Now I know it's going to build on this big story, and maybe the payoff will be great. And I'll love that. But for now, as a standalone movie, or even as a sequel, it's not very good. If it's a part of the puzzle of the story, and then once it all comes together, maybe I'll give this movie some credit. But for now, as it stands, when there's only 2 movies left, and I know they're going to make a third one, and they're going to make a third one. You want to know why? Because I don't think this movie bombed. This movie made money, and if this movie makes money, they're going to make a third one, and we're going to get one in the next couple of years, probably 2023. Bare minimum, maybe 2024. But, like I said, right now, I don't like this movie because it doesn't feel like it needed to happen as of now. Everything that happens in this movie just doesn't feel like it needs to be there, you know? It just kind of feels like more Quiet Place stuff, you know? More monster stuff. More stuff I didn't need because the first one felt interesting. It did feel like you could continue. I think you can continue the first one's story. I think you can. If it was left alone, I would most likely be fine. But I think you can continue the story. There's ways you can do that. And there's sparks of potential in this movie. That scene where, like, the daughter and the son were, like, killing both of the creatures and stuff like that, that was a great scene. But there wasn't any build-up to that, you know? There wasn't any, like, point to it. It felt emotional, and I felt the scene in a sense, but there wasn't anything building up to that, you know? It didn't really feel like there was anything that felt, like, earned there, you know? It just kind of felt like more Quiet Place stuff, and just, I didn't care about much of it, because it just felt lifeless and soulless, and I didn't really have a big, strong connection with any of these characters as I did in the first one. So as a result, it goes here. It's not a half star. I changed it. But it's still not a good movie, in my opinion. I still do not like it. When are you making music? I honestly don't know. Whenever I feel like it. Like I do with everything. Have you seen Eternals? Michael really hates that movie. Where I think I looked at it as fantastic. I will see the Eternals eventually, just to see how bad it is. I think it's on Disney Plus too. Like I'm pretty sure it's on Disney Plus. Let's see Eternals. Because if it's on there for free, I will maybe watch it. Because I want to see how bad this movie truly is, you know? Not because I hate movies. But if a movie this bad actually gets a rotten score from Rotten Tomatoes, if a movie like this gets a rotten score from Rotten Tomatoes, a Marvel movie, an MCU movie, that's gotta be really terrible, right? That's gotta be, like, dreadful. That's gotta be, like, the worst movie ever made, you know? Because you would think that this would never happen. I never thought this was ever gonna happen. But it did somehow, you know? And now that that's happened, I am very intrigued to see how terrible of a movie this is, you know? I'll give it a chance, you know? I'll give it a chance if it's good. If I like it somehow, I'll say I like it. But I'm not going to just lie and, like, have just a controversial opinion, you know? Why would I have that? That's not fun. I haven't seen that sequel. It was going to be a prequel, but I hope it's a sequel. And I have no idea what you're talking about. Jonah Production says hello, but hi. Eternals is by far the worst Marvel movie, no competition. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see if I agree with you or not. Because it definitely does seem like I don't think I'll like it. But I'll come in with, you know, I'm coming in with low expectations. I'll keep an open mind. But I'm not expecting to like it. Let's be honest. It's coming to Disney Plus on the 12th for free. Okay, I'll wait then. Because I'm not going to pay for it. Why would I give them my money, you know? I liked Ghostbusters Afterlife. Okay. Honestly, I have heard nothing about Ghostbusters Afterlife. It just kind of disappeared, you know? When the trailer came out, everyone was hyped because, you know, they got Paul Rudd, they got Finn Wolfhard. I haven't heard anything about Ghostbusters Afterlife. Like, now that it's actually been released, who really has said anything about Ghostbusters Afterlife? Or who's actually gone out of their way to see it in the theater, as far as I know? You know? Like, I hardly know anyone that's actually, like, seen the movie. You know, it just doesn't seem that way, you know? That happens a lot in Hollywood. They make sequels that are good but are unnecessary. Yeah. They do that. I haven't seen Space Jam 2, you know. I saw the first one. And yeah, that's really all I need to see. I don't need to see the second one, you know. I'm a grown adult. Not really, but yeah. Gavin's probably going to like Eternals since I hated it. Okay, yeah, this thing again. Michael, we actually agree on a couple movies now for some reason. Now that you've changed a lot of your opinions, like they blend with mine a decent bit. Maybe I will hate it. You know, I'm not gonna like it. I don't expect to like it. Let's be honest, Micah. When have I ever liked an MCU movie? You know, because like the MCU, it's not cinema. You know, it's not Scorsese. I have to hate it. But Micah, how is the Eternals that bad? Well, he hates Marvel, so that makes sense. No, I do not hate Marvel. As much as I joke around about hating Marvel, no, I don't hate Marvel. I love No Way Home. In fact, we're gonna talk about it. I love No Way Home. And If you see my letterbox list, you know where it is. I think it's a great movie. It's one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. I love Marvel. I love Marvel. Not when they do crap like Black Widow. I hate it when they do that. But sometimes I love it. It's a love-hate relationship, to be honest, because sometimes they make pointless crap like, Shang-Chi and Black Widow. Shang-Chi we'll get to eventually. And then they make, movies like No Way Home. So I don't hate Marvel, okay? I love a lot of their movies. It's just recently I don't like Marvel because a lot of their stuff has been crap that I've seen, Literally everything about the Eternals makes me angry. Well, that makes me even more excited. Eternals kind of sucked. I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife in the theater. There's nothing wrong with that. I've just never heard anybody talk about it. Like, who's actually talked or made a review about Ghostbusters Afterlife, Like, who's really had a deep dive discussion about it? I think the only Marvel movie I hate is Captain 08 Far From Home. Okay. That's cool. I mean, I dislike it too. I dislike it too, so cool. I really dislike a lot more than that. I Captain Marvel, obviously. I guess Black Widow would be up there. Yeah, I could probably think of a couple more, but I don't feel like it. Ghostbusters 3, unappreciated in my opinion. Shame because it's an 80s movie at heart and a good 80s movie. Okay, well, maybe I'll see it. Maybe I'll see it eventually. But now I just don't feel like it. I haven't really cared about it. Okay, number 14, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. This honestly just was like, I had no expectations coming in, and it was kind of fun. It was fun at times, I'll give it that. But let's be honest, this is just another dumb popcorn movie, and for that, it's hard to really hate this movie, It's hard for me to bash it, say it's a disaster, and then just rant pointlessly for 9 hours. Because it's not really trying to be something that's good, like, they're not trying to, like, be good movies. These are trying to be good movies and they fail. This isn't really trying to be a good movie. And because of that, I don't have too much bad to say about it. It was 90 minutes. It didn't really waste my time. It could have been better. Yeah, sure. I thought the performance from, like, was it again? How do I forget this actor's name? What the heck is wrong with me? I always get these actors. It's like Andy. No, I don't want to say it because if I get it wrong, everyone's going to be mad at me. Okay, I'm terrible with names, okay? Don't get angry at me. Okay, I don't do this a ton, okay? Let's see. Woody Harrelson. Yeah, Woody Harrelson. I knew it was a Woody, okay? I was about to say Woody Allen, and then everyone was going to get angry at me. But, yeah, okay. Talking about Venom, Let There Be Carnage, there's not much to say. It's just a dumb movie, okay? You can't really call anything more than that. Even people that like this movie will admit it. It's not that good. It's just a movie. It's just a popcorn movie. Nothing more. I saw Afterlife in theaters, even though I haven't seen the other movies. Well, I mean, that's fine, Good for you. I ranked the Ghostbusters movies. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying I haven't heard really anyone actually talk about it or have a deep dive discussion into it. Okay, that's my bad, dude. I thought you hated Marvel because you are negative towards it. Again, sorry, Megan. Well, that's because everyone always asks me about, like, the ones I hate for some reason. That's because I always talk about those movies because I honestly have no idea. I just do, okay? Like, because coincidentally, I really dislike Far From Home and I really dislike a lot of Marvel movies, and I'm more vocal about that than the ones I really like. So that's kind of why, okay? Don't feel sad or anything. It's fine. It's just people think I hate Marvel. I don't hate Marvel, okay? I hate recent Marvel, yes. There's some things I really dislike that they've done, and I don't like the direction they're going in, but No Way Home's kind of changed my perspective on it a bit. The 2016 movie is True Cinema. Haven't seen it, Don't feel like it, It just doesn't really seem like... Everyone says it's complete garbage, but honestly, I have no idea. I just don't care, I'm not a big Ghostbusters fan. I watched the first one, like, one time, and I think I've seen the second one a couple of times. I've probably seen the second one more than I've seen the first one, actually. But, I don't really care. I don't care about Ghostbusters enough. I really enjoyed Venom with the Recarnage. That's fine. I had a fun time too. But it's got a lot of problems, It's got so many issues that, it's hard to it's hard to, not think about them. If you haven't seen it and hate dad jokes, you'll hate Afterlife a lot. I don't know. I really don't care. Ghostbusters, I'm sorry, I just don't. The TV show, though, I've seen like the old 80s TV show a little bit, that I don't mind. But for the most part, I'm not a diehard Ghostbusters fan, I won't be mad at you for mispronouncing names because I do the same thing. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying other people will. Even though there's like 4 people watching this, I'm saying people that just will randomly come once this whole entire live stream's up. Because let's be honest, no one watches this now. Who watches my live streams when they're in the present, Like, I think my live streams are kind of more built just to kind of watch and listen to in the background while you're playing like Call of Duty or something. And I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly okay with that. So, yeah. I'm obviously joking about the 2016 Ghostbusters. Yeah, I know. I'm just adding on to it. Okay, 13. Army of Dead. I mean, after how exciting the Snyder Cut was, after how much hype there was around all of it, even if you didn't like the movie, you can't deny how much of a big event it was to watch this 4-hour epic on HBO Max. Let's be honest, people were decently excited for Army of Dead because we get 2 Zack Snyder movies. After it's been like 5 years of an absence from him, we get 2 Zack Snyder movies. And then we got one that people, for the most part, really, really liked, that were like really excited, like, yes, this is what we got for the Snyder Cut. And then Army of Dead was just the one that kind of happened. Not much else to say besides that, really. It was a movie. I watched it. I wasn't incredibly bored. I wasn't bored out of my mind for a 2.5-hour movie. I'll give it that. But it's just kind of lifeless, Like, it's not awful. It's not an awful movie, regardless of its problems. But it could have been so much more fun with Zack Snyder's normal visual flair, especially when Dawn of the Dead's like his second best movie, third best movie, and it's a zombie movie. He that's how we got into the business, I guess. I think the thing is, Zack Snyder doesn't exactly realize that he's not the best writer. Even if I like Zack Snyder's Justice League, you can't deny there's some decent writing problems. And even though he fixes a lot of them in that movie, he fixes a lot of his flaws in that movie, there's still there's definitely some writing problems in that movie. They are so present here. They are definitely, it's like, writing-wise, it's not very entertaining. And visual-wise, it is so bland, especially for a Zack Snyder movie when his visual flair was always like one of it's like the best part. And then you get Army of the Dead. That is just such a disappointment. Sorry. That's such a disappointment. That is such a bland, dull, lifeless movie. And you just forget about it. I don't remember this movie a ton. I do remember the basic plot points, but it's not like I remember anything memorable about this movie. I just remember it happened. Oh my gosh. No. Are you kidding me? Okay, block. Instantly block. I never want to see that again. No. That really just ruined my day. Moving on. You and me are the same because I don't care about Ghostbusters. The Snyder Cut was really hyped up. It's insane. Yeah, it was. It was very hyped up. It was like a movement that's been going on for like 4 years. That went on for like 4 years. It's crazy. Haven't seen Army of the Dead. Need to watch it. I agree. The writing in his movies are so bad. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just he has a lot of flaws as a writer. He just isn't really that great as a writer. In the Snyder Cut, he definitely fixed a lot of his writing flaws, but they're definitely still evident, They're still out there. What is happening right now? Just ignore it. It was like it was some troll or something. It was some bot or something. Just forget that ever happened. I just saw it recently. I need like mods or something. What the heck was that? But yeah, let's move on. Let's forget that ever happened. Let's see. Anyways, Fear Street 1978. It was a disappointment, honestly. Like really loved the first Fear Street. I thought that was a really great movie, really entertaining, really fun movie. And then you get this that was just kind of there, you know? Like it's got its problems and everything, but just wasn't a very entertaining movie, you know? I built up a little bit on the lore. And there's definitely some things I find about that are very, very entertaining. But let's be honest, it's just an okay movie. I don't remember a ton that was memorable, but I remember the basic plot points, but I don't remember a ton that I can really say about it, you know? It's a lot like Army of the Dead, where it's just kind of there, and it's kind of overshadowed by a superior movie, so... Yeah, because of that, Fear Street 1978, it's just there. Okay, next one. Another forgettable movie. We're running into like the forgettable territory. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Now, I mean, let's be honest. I think most people that actually like the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies just like Long Haul. You know, it's not a surprise. It's not like a shocker or anything. It was a widely hated movie, and the trilogy was loved by fans, including myself. I really liked the first three movies. Are they amazing? No, they're not. They're not amazing. They're not masterpieces or anything. They're not like cinema or like, real works of art. But they're fun movies. They're fun, wholesome movies that I really enjoy. And I'm not saying it just because of nostalgia. I think even beyond nostalgia, they're still really something, There's something there. There's charm there. There's likability to it. And then there's like The Long Haul. That's like just a generic live-action road trip kids movie, And then there's Diary of a Wimpy Kid 2021 that I was excited for because of the animation style. I think other people were excited for it because of the animation style. Even if it wasn't amazing, it kind of gave a Peanuts movie tone, a Spider-Verse tone. Even if it looked cheap in the trailers, I was still interested mainly because of that. Because you could tell, because with animation, you could do whatever the heck you want. And because of that, I was hoping they would maybe go in a different direction with this. But they did the same crap they did in the live-action movie, except for just trimmed down to less than, 50 minutes. It felt so lazy, Like, I'm not saying that the original Diary of a Wimpy Kid 3 movies, I'm not saying they were built with the uttermost passion and, not the uttermost passion. I'm not saying they were like Kubrick movies where, or something like that. You know what I mean by that? But they at least felt like they kind of cared, They at least felt like they kind of wanted to make a decent kids movies, Decent movies to watch. Instead of, something that's just bland, lifeless. And thank God it's only 50 minutes, because if it was longer, I'd probably be bored out of my complete mind. Because this was just such a generic movie, Greg isn't really Greg. Rally's kind of a jerk, actually, which is weird. Roderick's in it for, one scene. You've heard all of the complaints from people that really are really into the series a lot more than I am. But it just isn't a fun movie to watch. It's just another generic kids film. And, if you show it to your kid or whatever, you show it to, a really little kid, maybe they'll like it. But honestly, just go watch the original 3 movies. You'll get a lot more than whatever you get out of this. I've heard good things about Fear Street, but the third one, not that much. Really? I really like the third one. We'll get to that soon, but I really like the third one. I think it's a good movie. Oh, dude, Diary of a Wimpy Kid was forgettable. The new one, but at least it's not The Long Haul. It's funny how Road Trip was more funny and more better than The Long Haul. I mean, I don't know. It's like comparing apples to oranges. I know it's a generic saying, but I'm using it anyways because it's just true. Except for replace apples and oranges with 2 really bad movies. That's what it is, Just replacing apples and oranges with two really generic road trip kids films that don't have much to do with each other and just really aren't that captivating. I watched Wimpy Kid, and the next day I immediately forgot this exists. I do not blame you. It's so bland. It's very forgettable. I mainly only remember this movie. You want to know why? I only remember it because the original events. Mostly, you know. I don't remember it because it was such a memorable movie. Like it takes. Greg's a jerk. He sucks, and they make him likable. Like at least in the original movies, they made him like kind of likable, kind of able to be a decent person, but also like he's not like fully functional. He kind of still sucks. But it's like in this movie, he's just too likable, and I don't like that. He needs to be unlikable. He needs to be a terrible person. I'm not even joking. I genuinely mean that. Okay, next one. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Or Shang-Chi and the really long title that I really don't want to talk about. Or just Shang-Chi the movie I don't really care about. That's kind of what this is. It's got... The only things I can really bring up about this movie are that I hate Katie. Shang-Chi, the fighting scenes are really cool. And apparently there was like a Pokemon-looking creature in that. That's apparently because Pokemon characters are inspired by like Chinese mythology, which is cool. That's really all I can say about this movie. Like, really, Shang-Chi is just okay, It's a very much another mythology movie that's been done to death, done by the numbers. I mean, not done by the numbers. What the heck is that? No one says that. But, like, it's just a movie that's been done to death, And because of that, I don't care about it. It's just an okay movie. And I'm not going to get anything else from that, It's an okay movie that I just don't really like. And I hate Katie. I hope I never see her I'm not going to call her ugly, She's not ugly. But I hope I never see her again. She is so annoying. She really is. She just brings out every single piece of anger in me. Okay, I guess we'll go to the comments. Hey Jonah, I don't blame you, man. Oh boy, Gavin's epic 2021 movie ranking. Yeah, I'm doing this. Even though I've seen like 16, and that's not that much. When I saw Gabriel's What I Watched in December video, I thought he forgot the 2021 movie. Huh? Okay. I didn't notice the Pokemon creature until Micah mentioned it, and I didn't notice it either until he mentioned it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Wait, Gavin, we'll see Katie again for sure. I hope we don't. We better not. I will leave the movie theater if I see her in another movie. She never should be in another movie again. I hate her. Like I despise her. She's like every generic comedic relief that I just can't stand. So yeah, I don't like her. She is my Rose. I hate her that much. Next to a Candyman. Okay, I'll stop using the word generic probably after we're done with this movie, but I mean, it's not generic, I would say. It's just forgettable. It's a forgettable movie. Like, I remember the plot events, but I never felt anything during the movie, It's like kind of a remake, and that's interesting in and of itself, but at no point did I really feel anything. At no point did I really feel like any fear, anxiety, or any sense of feeling bad for this guy, or any sense of really caring about the characters, or really, and maybe not even the visuals really were good. Not even the score was really good. I can't remember anything positive or negative about this movie. And that's the problem. It's a nothing movie that could have been good, and I like the first Candyman. I think it's a really good movie, and I think they could have built upon that, but it just came off as bland. And I think being bland is worse than being terrible. I think being bland is worse than being a stupid, insanely dumb movie that makes absolutely no sense. And that's why I'm disappointed in this movie. Because it could have been so much more, and it just became so much less than it could have been. Dang, she was that bad. At least in my opinion. I know people don't really care about her. I'm like the only one that hates her as much as I do. Candyman, I quite enjoyed. I mean, that's fine if you enjoy it. I just didn't really. I didn't find anything memorable about it. Nothing really popped about the movie, if you know what I'm saying. Like nothing really stuck out. Okay, now we're getting into like the movies that people, for the most part, like I kind of care about and stuff. Last Night in Soho. I know people like this movie a decent bit. You know, is it the weakest Edgar Wright movie? Yeah, it is. I'd say so. I think Edgar Wright took a dip with this one, but do I respect him enough for taking a risk as a director? Heck yeah. I'm excited for the future of his career, even if this was probably a little bit of a nosedive after his recent film. But I think that Edgar Wright really has potential to be more than just the comedy director that makes very creative movies. I think he can be more than that. And I think this movie does kind of show that he can be more than that. He can make serious movies. And I hope we get more movies like this and Baby Driver in the future of his career. Edgar Wright is someone that is just, you just get excited anytime he announces himself doing anything, you know? And when I heard about Last Night in Soho, I was excited. And now that we've finally gotten Last Night in Soho, I was just kind of disappointed. I would still definitely do appreciate what Edgar Wright was able to do with this movie. The visuals are absolutely out of this world. Beautiful. And I think there are some very, I won't spoil the movie, but there's some very definitely underlying themes about idolization, I think, and celebrities. Or not exactly celebrities, but I guess the theme of, like I said before, the theme of idolization and the way it is pulled off, I think is really good. I think the twists, for the most part, do work, but I don't think that it lands fully, you know? Like, I don't think that, for the most part, it's that great. I think part of the reason why I don't like it is because I think the main protagonist is not very interesting. I think she's a very boring character, especially for Edgar Wright characters that at least have a spark to them, you know? Even like someone like Baby, I think has like kind of this, you know, flair, this something interesting, you know, something you want to know about him. But with the main character in Last Night in Soho, I don't really care about her. I don't really have much of an interest with her. I don't really have anything about her that's like, oh yeah, she's kind of interesting, you know? Like, there's other Edgar Wright characters that are so much more fun, so much more interesting, so much more likable than her. And because of that, I just don't really, she really holds the movie down, I think, because I don't care about her, you know? And I think this goes for most of the characters, to be honest. I don't really care about most of them. And I think that's what holds the movie back, is because like I kind of was supposed to care about the characters in this movie. And because of that, and because I'm really supposed to be invested in the main lead, it just doesn't really work for me. And it kind of falls a bit flat, you know? But beyond that, it's a decent movie. I'm excited for the rest of Edgar Wright's career. I just was kind of disappointed by this film. I really need to see Last Night in Soho. I'm just scared to check it out since the reception is a mix of horrifying and amazing. Well, I guess kind of form your own opinion, you know? Come in with whatever what you're gonna expect. And just kind of watch the movie. Honestly, so most of the time with popular movies, I don't really like the fact that it's so easy to like figure out what your opinion could be. And it's like with movies that are more like, I guess, less well known, it's a little bit more fun because you have no idea what you're supposed to expect. But with like a movie like, I don't know, The Eternals, I guess you're supposed to like expect it to be bad or whatever. And yeah, that's why, yeah, I guess that's kind of the issue with like popular movies. But honestly, I guess if you can, just go in with no expectations or go in with whatever expectations you can. Just honestly, just watch it. Just watch it, I guess is the best thing to say. I really enjoyed Last Night in Soho, and it's so sad that this movie bombed at the box office. It did. I mean, I didn't see it in theaters. I rented it, but really, it bombed. Dang. I mean, I don't know. Edgar Wright will probably bounce back from this, even if it did bomb and it did kind of maybe somewhat hurt his career. But I think Edgar Wright, for the most part, he'll bounce back. He'll make something great that will not bomb at the box office, I think. Okay, number 7. Bo Burnham Inside. Now, I didn't know who Bo Burnham was at all. I had no idea who this guy was until recently. You know? Like, I had no idea. One second. Okay. Okay, so back to what I was saying. I didn't know who Bo Burnham was. I had no idea who he was until my friend Ethan Butler kind of, gave me an idea. Like he started bringing up about Inside, how much he loves Inside, and all that kind of stuff, yada yada yada. So you know what? You know what I do? I decided to watch Inside, and did I like it? Did I enjoy it? I thought it was pretty good, honestly. I think it's pretty good. It's like a very high 3.5, I'd say. I maybe would give it a higher score now. It's been a while, since I've watched it. But what I remember is I think what I love so much about Inside is the phenomenal creativity. Bo Burnham did so much with just making like this whole thing, this whole special in his house. And what he's able to do with that is insanely impressive, shockingly impressive. And I absolutely 110% appreciate him for doing that. I applaud him for being able to create such a good special in just his house. It's impressive. It's something that it seems impossible to do. And the fact that we have big budget MCU movies and CGI screens that cost thousands, millions of dollars, seeing him do something like this, it's just in a room, it's so down to earth, And the way he's able to relate a lot of his songs and stuff with social issues is impressive. I really do like most of the songs. Like they tackle real life issues that we have in social media and social issues in general, etc. And I think the way he tackles it is a very well done way. It's a very good way, and I do really enjoy it for that specifically. But I will say, I think one of my problems with the movie is that, not movie, a special, whatever, is that, it just felt a little bit unfocused. It just felt like a bunch of random stuff, and maybe it's because I'm used to films that are very structured and very organized, but I felt like it was just kind of didn't know exactly what it wanted to say and exactly what it wanted to do. And I think because that I do have gripes with it, I'll probably give it a 4 now. You know what? I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to go on my phone and I'm going to give it a 4. But I do have problems with the way it perceives itself. But I do think overall it is a good film. I think it's special, whatever you want to call it. I do like it. I just don't love it, I like it. I think it's good. It's enjoyable. Okay. I agree with your take. On movies, especially with the indie movie. What indie movie? Oh yeah, the one I just brought up. But now I see what you're saying. Now I get what you're saying. I'm keeping my thoughts on Bo Burnham's Inside to my grade, simply because that was the film's recurring theme. It's ironic though. Just yesterday, I did a mini cover of the first song for new videos. Huh. Well, yeah, I like it. It's good. I do like it. I don't absolutely adore it, but I think it's something special. And it's something that I think we need right now, especially for Netflix, when they just put out generic rom-com crap a lot of the time. I'm going to see Dub here, but who's Bo Burnham? He's a comedian, and basically this project of Inside was like him recording like a whole special in his room. It's hard to explain exactly what it is to someone who has no idea what Bo Burnham is, but that's basically what it is. That's the simple way of describing it. Ethan Butler is a cool guy and has interesting takes on movies. He does. There's definitely been like a couple movies here that like he's kind of introduced me to, and I applaud him for that. My only problem is how it drags near the end. Yeah, I would probably agree with that too. It does drag sometimes. Maybe it was a bit too long for a comedy special. You could probably say that, but I don't know. I still like it. Is Bo Burnham on Netflix? Yes, it is. The Inside. It just look up Inside on Netflix. It's 80 minutes long. Yeah, and you can watch it. It's right there. Okay, The Suicide Squad. Okay. Thank you, James Gunn. Honestly, I feel like in a way, it's kind of, I guess in a way you could say it's good that James Gunn did kind of get fired. He didn't just kind of, he did get fired from the MCU because he made something that was this good and something I debate giving a 4.5 or a 4. I think it's, you know what? I'm kind of debating on whether to do with either of these. Because I do really like this, but like I also do like Dune. I think Dune is probably the technically better movie or whatever. It's hard to say. I guess it depends on which one I'd rewatch again. And honestly, I'd rather watch The Suicide Squad. So we're gonna put that there. I'd rather put The Suicide Squad there, and we'll talk about Dune. Let's just talk about Dune instead. You know, because this is my stream. I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna talk about Dune. It was good. It was very impressive. I was very impressed by this movie. I feel like the world has so much potential, and there are so many interesting things in the world that I do really, 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 really enjoy about it. I think the way the world's perceived in this movie, you know, the way the world is built up, the scenery is just gorgeous. You know, the sets. You know, why did it take so long to say? What I'm saying is that the sets, the scenery, the way everything looks, it looks so beautiful, and I'm so hooked into this world. I want to know more about this world. I want to know where these people came from. I want to know what happened here, you know? I want to know what the heck's going on with this guy who's going to be the chosen one that has this, like, that's kind of like the chosen one in this movie, I guess, that has, like, this, that has dreams, like, has dreams about this girl or whatever. I want to know stuff about that. I want to uncover. I want the whole package. I want to know what this movie's going to be about, you know? I want to know more about these characters. And I think the problem with it is that I think the world building is just too confusing. But I guess before we get into how confusing I think the way the world's built up, I think I gotta talk about the visuals. Because Denis Villeneuve, I've only seen him from Arrival, and I really love the visuals in that movie. And I adore them here. I think they're even better than in Arrival, I'd say. It's very close, but I love the scenery. I love the way things look. You can tell Denis Villeneuve took his time with every single frame of this movie. It looks like a painting, you know? It's stuff I put on my wall. That's how gorgeous this movie is. That's how beautiful it looks. It's probably the best movie visually out of all of the ones I've seen this year. And that's saying something because there were some really good movies visually this year. But this movie, overall, people were excited about it. I didn't care about it too much. I didn't like the trailers. I didn't like the marketing. I wasn't very excited. But what I got was something very good, something very interesting, something very special. And I did like it. But my problem with the movie is how underwhelming it truly stops. How underwhelming it truly ends, you know? Because by the time we get to the end of the movie, I wanted more, you know? I want to see what's going to happen next. I want to see what will happen next. I want to see how this movie's going to conclude. I want more of these characters, you know? Because I didn't feel like I got that, you know? I felt like I definitely did get a lot of exposition, but I felt like the exposition wasn't really handled all that well, you know? Because I didn't get to understand the world very well. I felt like, well, I love the world. I love the way the world looks, and I want to just be in it. I didn't get to understand it more, you know? There's a lot of weird things that happen, confusing things, words they say that you just don't understand because you don't understand the world exactly. Because I don't feel like they explain to you very much about certain things, about how certain things are going and how certain things in the world operate. And they don't really got time for that. It's hard to make time for that, you know? This might work better as a mini series, maybe. But I think because of that, it kind of slows it down, you know? Because I don't think the Dune book was really made to be a movie. It wasn't really made to be a movie because it was designed as a book. A lot of books aren't made to be movies, you know? Because that's hard to adapt them. I feel they probably did the best they could with a part 1 to Dune and the fact that we're getting a part 2 later. And I think a lot of people were disappointed because they expected this to be a whole conclusion and everything, and then what we got was underwhelming. You know, people weren't too happy about that. But I am excited for the part 2. I'm excited what's going to happen next. I think just that the way it ends was underwhelming. I didn't really get hooked with the characters as much as I wanted to be. You know, I understood their motives and stuff like that. I didn't love them, and I want more of them. And I know there's going to be more of them and more interesting stuff that's going to happen later. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't that great. But that part wasn't that great. But beyond that, it's a really good movie with a great world, with some beautiful visuals, with a really good score too. I'd say it's got a pretty good score, you know? It gets me excited for what's going to happen next. But overall, you know, it could have been better. But I think I will like this movie and appreciate this part of it more once we get the second part. Did you see Encanto yet, or whatever it's called? No, I haven't. I'm not very interested in it, to be honest. Disney has made me angry and frustrated so many times because I loved what they used to be able to do. And I mean, the last couple of movies I saw from them just were disappointing. So I'm not too excited about this movie, to be honest. The Suicide Squad was fantastic. Wait a minute, I just realized something. Where the heck's Raya and the Last Dragon on here? I didn't talk about it at all. Like, it wasn't on here. That's weird. Raya. We're going to add this on here. I know this is kind of a mess. This is kind of a disaster of a live stream. But we're going to add this, and then we're just going to talk about it, because I didn't talk about this movie, you know? And I want to talk about it. Raya and the Last Dragon. Honestly, this is the worst. I mean, heck yeah, it is. It is the worst. Okay, now I'm going to look to see if I missed any other 2021 movies that I've seen that I haven't added to this list, because there might be a couple. I should double check this list. I don't know why. I apologize. Let's see. Profile, films, and then here we go. Let's see. For the most part, I was spot on. All I really forgot was Raya and the Last Dragon. I guess you could count the Juice WRLD documentary that I saw. But yeah, it wasn't. You know, it was what it is. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Raya and the Last Dragon. It's the last place. Okay, you know what? I'll read the comments first, and then I'll get to talking about. Ah, boy, Raya and the Last Dragon. What a disaster piece. The Suicide Squad was fantastic. Dune is good. I was very impressed by what I saw. I did a 13-minute just talking about how wonderful it is, and I can't wait to see part 2. I mean, I can't wait either. You know, there's other movies I want to see, but I can't wait. A bit biased, since Suicide Squad is the reason I've met so many awesome creators and got to me and got me to star in the best video ever made. The James Gunn ranking in my staggering 10-second role. I don't think I've seen. Are you talking about After Has James Gunn ranking or something? Because I haven't seen it, so I don't get what you're talking about. If you're talking about Dune, that was part. Yeah, I know. Okay, I know. You don't have to tell me. I know that was part 1. Part 2 is coming. I get it. Did you rank Encanto yet? No, I didn't because I haven't seen Encanto. I haven't seen Encanto. Okay? Jeez, chill, bro. Bro, watch it. It's fun, magical, and good songs. Definitely not like those bad late movies like Raya, Ralph Breaks the Internet, or Frozen 2. Maybe I will watch it. I don't really care. I don't care about Disney anymore. The last 3 movies-ish have been bad. I love the Encanto, whatever. Whatever, however you pronounce it. It's one of my. It's my top. Well, good for you, bro. Good for you. You know, that's good. That's good to have a movie recently that's in your top 10 favorite movies. But I don't really care about it. You know, like I just don't care. I didn't see Luca. I could see Luca anytime I wanted to. You know, but I haven't because I don't really care. That's why, and because I'm lazy. It's a both. It's both. But yeah, let's go to Raya and the Last Dragon. This is my least favorite of every movie I've seen this year so far. It's a disappointment in every way imaginable. It could not exactly a disappointment, but in the way of it makes me angry. You know, it makes me angry at Disney. Because let's be honest. If you don't count Encanto or whatever, I haven't seen it. I'm not going to judge it. If you take that out, the last 3 Disney movies have not been good, at least in my opinion. Ralph Breaks the Internet kind of started this whole Disney animated movies getting bland, boring, and generic. And then Frozen 2, in my opinion, continued that. And now you got this movie, another one to equal with the bland, boring trilogy of Disney movies that nobody really wants to talk about. This was just, I mean, the world could have been interesting, and in ways it was kind of interesting and interesting to look at. But it just seemed bland at times, pretty boring. I'd rather be a lot more in this world than really following the actual story. I'd rather be more interested in looking at stuff from the world, because there's some stuff, it's a little creative. Maybe too creative for Disney standards, especially with the people that write these movies. But I think the issue about it is what it is at its core. What it tries to do at its core. The script is so bland, generic, and with the way that it portrays things, the way that it tries to portray the movie on, and by just giving us pointless stuff of exposition, you know, giving us too much exposition about trying to forget the past and moving forward and all of that stuff, which I think is good. I think that's a great idea for a theme, but you gotta execute your theme well. And this movie fails at that horribly. I don't mind having this type of theme. I think it's a great theme. It's not a generic Disney theme, and it's actually something you could do a lot with. They don't do a lot with it. They don't really do much with it. It's just, you see like Raya kind of preach about it and stuff, and like Raya and like the dragon, I forgot her name. She sucks. She's annoying as well. They have like her talking and like talking about moving on and stuff like that, and like it's just not that interesting. It's so boring. There's so much exposition in this movie about that. They just go on explaining about basically the whole theme of the movie. They might as well just have them all stand in a circle and tell us what the point of the movie's supposed to be about, because that's what they just should have done at this point. Why matter? Why does it care? You've ruined the theme. You've ruined any sense of really care or passion put into this movie. I will say they put a lot of effort into them animation. It looks great at times, but it's Disney, you know? That's kind of a given at this point. With Disney and Pixar, with how much money they make, it's a given. Yeah, your animation's gonna look pretty good if you throw billions and billions of dollars at the screen and put absolutely no passion into your project. I miss the care that was put into Disney movies. Where was that care and love and passion with movies like Moana, Zootopia, Tangled? Films like that, films that just meant something, you know? Films that really meant, and that films you could feel, films you could understand, where you could relate to the characters, relate to their motives. And it just feels gone now. It feels like we're in this new bad era of Disney. And it's not an era I want to be in. It's an era I wish was forgotten. And I'm so glad that for the most part of my childhood, I do not have to grow up with crap like this. That I can just move forward and try to forget about these movies and not have them as a memory of my childhood. And I feel like Disney, for a lot of people, was a lot of people's childhoods in a way. You know, it gave them joy, it gave them happiness, it gave them life, you know? Like for people around, kids around my age, when they watched movies like Tangled, when they watched movies like Wreck-It Ralph, you know, they felt something. They could connect with the characters. We could feel what they're feeling. And I know I'm sounding pretentious. I know I'm sounding preachy, but that's because Disney means so much to me. They mean so much to me. I care about them so much. I care so much about their company. I care so much about the movies that they are making that I will go on Pointless Rants, even though I know they will never listen and they're never going to watch this and they're never going to know I exist. And I don't care. You want to know why? Because I love Disney so much that I will constantly and I will keep talking about the movies. Maybe one day I'll talk about Encanto. One day I'll probably watch it. Even if I've given up on Disney, I will one day watch it. Just because I want to see, has Disney got it again? Will Disney do it again? Will Disney get better? Will Disney understand their problems and try and fix them? Because I want them to get better. It's just hard when they keep disappointing me one after the next film, and they keep putting out crap like this. And I know this has become a huge spiel about Disney, and it's hardly about Raya and the Last Dragon anymore, but in a way it still is, because this movie, it's 3 strikes you're out. This has been the 3rd strike, in my opinion. The 3rd movie in a row that Disney Animation Studios has made that has disappointed me. And maybe there's other people like there out there like me that also dislike this movie, that also didn't want to see this movie. I didn't see this movie in theaters. I saw this in over the summer in a cabin with my family because they wanted to watch it. That's the only reason I watched it. I probably wouldn't have watched it if it weren't for that. You want to know why? Because I gave up on Disney after Frozen 2. After Frozen 2, I didn't care what they did anymore. And maybe I will continue to watch the movies and not give up on what they're going to do and see if they get better. But come on. You can make better than this. You can do a lot better than this. You've done it so many times. You've done it time after time again. You can make good movies, Disney. You have made good movies in the past, 5 years? You've made them. You've made good films. Why not just keep doing that? Make creative, fun ideas. Make creative, fun films that are enjoyable, that are fun to watch. Make another Zootopia again. Make something like that, where they really do incorporate the idea of them being animals. Or incorporate, I don't know, something like Moana. That's this sort of, in a way, it has mythology. In the way it incorporates that mythology, it has beautiful animation. It has likable and fun characters. I don't expect Disney to make masterpieces, but I expect them to make good and fun, creative movies that for the family can enjoy, but also have a creative spark to them, a creative edge, something that's there, something that you can feel, something that you can relate to. And I know I've been going on for hours and hours probably, but this movie, out of every film I've made, it makes me the most angry. Okay. Oh, but here we go. Disney wasn't that good this year. No, they were not. They were not good last year, for the most part. Again, Encanto was amazing, and Disney has proven again why they are good with movies. They put out not a disappointing movie from their list, Cough Breaks there. Well, maybe I'll watch it, but I'm still not really that interested in it. I respectively disagree with Jonah. I think Disney, even though they have made some forgettable movies, Cough, Good Dinosaur, they could create some good movies like Encanto or Tangled or Moana or Zootopia. I love Disney, but I have to agree. Disney has been good lately. Yes, I love Encanto and I love Disney, and oh my gosh, I'm just realizing that I have the exact same thoughts as you. Holy crap. I mean, yeah, somewhat. We do seem to agree on a decent amount of things. Not everything, but Disney, I could say so. I haven't seen Raya in theaters. I bought it on Blu-ray and haven't seen it yet. Well, I mean, you're not missing out on anything, really. It's nothing to really go home about. I watched it on Disney Plus with my family and when we were at a cabin. And I didn't expect anything, and I came in with even less than I was expecting. Pixar Soul was outstanding, and Luca was just all right. Soul I really liked. Luca I have not seen. I haven't seen Luca. Haven't really bothered to see it. I'll watch it if I ever do a Pixar ranking. But I do not have any interest in that movie whatsoever. Okay, now we are in the top 5. You can already see them, all 5, baby, up here. My favorite movies of 2021, all up here. You can see them all. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you get the point. You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm trying to go here. We're going to count down the top 5. Number 5, The Suicide Squad. Just such a good movie, you know? Thank you, James Gunn, for making this. This is just... I don't think I've ever had this much fun watching a movie at home. I should have watched it in theaters. I didn't. But I had so much fun just watching this movie. It was such a good time. And I think I am excited for DC after this. After this, I think they've had, even though they've only put out 2 films, and they haven't put out really much else when it comes to their universe, they've had a pretty good year, I think, just by these 2 films alone. And I am excited for what they are going to do in the future. The visuals in this movie and the editing are top-notch. Some of the best I've seen this year, I'd say. It incorporates so much into this comic booky, fun, energetic style that it has, and I absolutely love it. I love how it really affects the energy, the tone, and the style. And I also like how it's kind of a parody of the original Suicide Squad, and how it kind of builds off of that in a way, but is also its own movie. It's not just a commentary. It's not just trying to be some dumb, stupid commentary. It has its own flavor. It has something to add as well. And also, it's more self-aware and is more aware of how stupid that this movie is and how ridiculous it is as a comic book movie. Some comic book movies take themselves too seriously. The Suicide Squad is a good example of that. You want to know what this movie does? It doesn't take itself too seriously, and because of that, it works so much better than the original in so many ways. It works so much better as a fun, energetic, and kind of slapsticky movie that where the characters are actually pretty solid in this. King Shark isn't too bad, I'd say. Peacemaker is a blast to watch, and I actually don't hate Rick Flag in this movie. He actually has a point, you know? He's not just the bland military guy. He kind of has a purpose in this movie, you know? And then there's Bloodshot that's also very entertaining and very fun to watch, you know? Everyone in this movie has their own kind of charisma, has their own flair, their own charm. And because of that, I absolutely love it, you know? I love the chemistry with the characters. I love the way they banter. I think it kind of has an MCU vibe, but it's rated R, so it's not afraid to do anything. It's not really afraid of being all out. And I absolutely adore that about this movie, about how all out, how forward it is, and how unapologetic it is. I think one of the best traits a movie can have is being unapologetic and being so fun, so out there. So just amazing to enjoy and love and cherish, you know? It's a longer movie. Maybe it could be shorter and stuff like that. It definitely is not perfect, but it is a fun movie. And I didn't even talk about Polka Dot Man. Polka Dot Man was fun too. He's a weird, interesting, likable character. They made me care about Polka Dot Man. They made me actually want him to be in more movies, you know? I don't know how you do that. But it's James Gunn. And we need more directors from the DCEU like James Gunn. Because James Gunn, he knows how to make a fun, good movie. And he succeeded. He made a very good movie, in my opinion. A very good, fun, entertaining blast. And that is something special. That is something cherished. That is something that I will thank him for. Because that was something. The only movie I think Disney did great, it was Soul. Well, Soul didn't come out in 2021. It came out in December of 2020. So, I mean, does that really count? Yes, thank you, James Gunn. I'm just happy that you saw it. I saw it in theaters, and I'm really excited about Peacemaker. Yeah, Peacemaker's a great character. How are you? Just joined. I'm okay. I'm doing okay. Just kind of relaxing. Ranking every 2021 movie, even though I could probably do a lot of other stuff, but I like talking to you guys. You know, I like talking and rambling. Hey, how are you? Just joined. James Gunn. James Gunn is really good. Yeah, James Gunn is good. He's a very good director, and I'm excited for the rest of his career, and I hope he directs more movies, because, I mean, he's good at it. Okay, next one. Fear Street 1994. You know what? I think I'm going to swap these. Let's talk about Fear Street 1666. These are kind of interchangeable for me, but I think I want to put it this way. Now, is this an amazing, beautiful masterpiece? Of course not. Fear Street 1666 isn't a brilliant masterpiece. It's not a brilliant work of art. It's not the best movie ever made. But it is a very, very good movie, and I appreciate it for being a very, very good movie. I think because of that, I think the first 30 minutes, like the first half of this movie, is great. I really like the first half, actually. Kind of. I guess in ways I do like it, and in ways I don't. It's kind of a mixed bag. And I think one thing that's great about this movie is the fact that it kind of does have a twist, and it adds so much to this Fear Street lore. And I think my biggest compliment I can ever give to this franchise is I absolutely adore this world. I think the world of Fear Street is the most memorable thing ever. It is such a treasure. It is such a treasure to cherish. It's just how memorable and how amazing this world truly is. I think because I really do like this film. I think the second half isn't as great as the first half. I really, really like the first half. And I think I love how they show the entire tragic backstory. It's not just a couple of flashbacks. They show the whole thing. And I think that is a lot more special just giving us a couple things, It gives us the whole package. It makes us understand the entire story. And because of that, I really like it. I really like how much they show the story, how much they elaborate on it and give it to us in descriptive detail. And because of that, because they're able to give it to us like that, I think it works very well. And it works very well with the story added. I do really like somewhat like the characters, but I mostly like the world and like the way they portray the quote unquote villain's backstory. I think that's very good, And the legacy part, that part is really great. There's some really great moments in this movie. And it's just good. It's a fun time too. I love the visuals. It's got a lot of potential. It's got a lot of stuff to like about it. But it's not the greatest movie ever made. It's not a masterpiece, but it's a good movie. I like it. I agree with you. James Gunn was a great choice to direct the Suicide Squad. Yeah, he was. High Gold Pizza Brain. Hello. Okay. Fear Street, 1994. Really good movie. I give it a 4.5. I might give it that right now, actually. I think Fear Street, overall, it's not the best movie ever made, but it is a very, very great movie, I think. I think my favorite part about this movie is the twist and the way the twist is built up. I made a whole video essay on this, and I don't do that often. Trust me. I think there's very few times where I've actually wanted to do a full-on video essay on a movie because of how much I like something about it or an element about it. And I think the way they build up this movie is good because you think it's going to be a by-the-numbers, generic slasher film. And for the most part, that's what you get, You get the predictable jump scares, you get the boring music, you get the characters that are very much like Stranger Things and It. But then there's the twist. Then the twist, I think, really kind of switches you. Makes you think a little bit more, Because for the most part, we're expecting that all the characters are going to survive, right? We expect that they're all going to be alive by the end of the movie. Well, wrong. I won't spoil exactly what happens at the movie, but not all the characters survive. And when it happens, it's so shocking, it's so unexpected, none of us see it coming, because the movie, for the most part, seems so by the numbers that we didn't see it or expect it. Because of how low quality the movie was, we expected the predictable route. But then we got the more unexpected route, which I think is so great. I think when a movie can just surprise you like that, it's a work. It's definitely something to behold. The visuals are probably the best then out of any of these movies. I love the incorporation of purple and bluish and how it kind of gets this night feel, how it kind of has this night feel to this emptiness, I guess is the best way to describe it. And some of the jump scares and tension can work sometimes, even when it's not trying to exactly do that, I think. So overall, Fear Street, really great movie. Maybe I'll check out the director's other work, but really liked it. Really great film. Okay, down the top two. Interestingly enough, top two are comic book movies. I didn't finish Fear Street 1994. I didn't like it, but again, I didn't finish it. Yeah, that's true. Once you get to the ending, it's a little bit more. It's a lot more interesting. But top two, number two, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh boy, wow, what a film! You know, what a movie, what a gem, what. I'm missing out on stuff to say. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again just because of how long it is, but when I ever will have time to watch this movie again, I will watch it because it is such a work of art. It is such a gem, and I absolutely love it for that. Zack Snyder did his best. I don't know if Zack Snyder could make a better movie than this, to be honest. I don't know if he ever will make a better movie than this, to be honest. And Zack Snyder doesn't really have a masterpiece. He doesn't have a greatest film of all time, like a lot of other famous directors do. But if I were to say what his masterpiece was, this is probably the closest thing he has and maybe ever will get to a masterpiece. And I think that's something special. I think that everything about this movie, for the most part, is so much better than the original cut. Even people that enjoy the original cut, you cannot deny that this movie is a million times better. Because we get characters now. Cyborg has a character. Flash has a character. Even Steppenwolf has a character now. We get Ben Affleck and Superman, who have bits more of a characters. They're not really the main focus. It's more about introducing these characters. But I love the way we're introduced to these characters. I love Cyborg and how he's so lost and how he wants to be at humanity again. How he has to let go of that. He has to let go of his past because he's this broken person that's in a robot's body. Seeing that arc was phenomenal. Seeing him progress like that. Seeing him learn. Seeing him grow. Stuff that we never saw in the theatrical cut. Stuff we would never see in that movie. It just showed the passion and love that Zack had for this movie. And then seeing Flash, who's this person that isn't really a hero. He doesn't really, seeing him not really as a hero before. And then seeing him have that journey into being a hero. Having that journey into, doing something useful, doing something helpful, helping the community. Seeing that is so wholesome. Seeing these two characters being introduced, and then Aquaman, who's just kind of in the movie, to be honest. He's kind of funny. He's kind of enjoyable to watch. Yeah. And then we have someone like Steppenwolf. That, he's actually, Steppenwolf, who's just someone that's kind of like trying, I guess, in a way to gain acceptance. I don't fully remember this movie. It's been a minute. But in a way, Steppenwolf is a character. We see these people get their own arcs, get their own personalities. We see them as individual people now. And the visuals are so much better. The editing is so much better. The story is so much better. I love everything about there's definitely problems with the movie, okay? Batman isn't the most interesting character. Henry Cavill isn't the most interesting character. We were all excited for the Joker and for a guy who was going to be in this movie until, he disappears at the end. But that doesn't matter because we got the original version. And the original version is good. It is very, very good. And I don't think anyone else could make a movie like this. I don't think anyone else besides Zack could have made a movie that was like this. And I think that's special. Snyder Cut Justice League was a big surprise. I mean, I don't know if it was a surprise. It was shocked when it was going to be announced. But I think most people kind of did expect it to be this great. But then there's also Snyder cynics that weren't that excited for it. And then they liked it. So, at least some of them did. I'm glad that they put the Snyder Cut in 4K. So am I. Zack Snyder is a beast when it comes to DC movies. I wouldn't say that, though. I think he made one really great movie, and then, one really great movie, one pretty good movie, and then one okay movie. That's just how I perceive his filmography. It's 100% better than the 2017 movie. I really cared for Cyborg and for his character in this movie. For all the crap I've said about the Flash in the 2017 crap, I really love him and can't wait to see the Flash movie. I am excited too. I hope they don't mess it up, Please don't mess it up, DC, because I want a good one, you know? I want something special. I want something memorable. Okay. The final movie, y'all know what it is. It's No Way Home. I mean, I have not seen that many great movies this year. I didn't see much. I hadn't seen Judas and the Black Messiah. I want to see that movie a lot. And there's other movies that I definitely also do really, really, really want to see. But as for now, this is my favorite movie of the year. Is it the best one? No. Is it perfect? No, it's definitely not perfect. I guess technically speaking or whatever, I guess you wouldn't really put it in the top 3. But Spider-Man No Way Home, it made me love Marvel again. It made me enjoy Marvel again. It made me just be proud to be a Marvel fan. And I think that's something that Marvel failed too many times, in my opinion. Too many times they failed to capture the Marvel magic, capture what works, capture what's so special about Marvel, capture, what I love about them sometimes, And in this movie, I wasn't expecting a ton. I hated Far From Home. I can't stand the movie. Maybe I'll even make a video essay on this film one day because of how much I loved it, how much I didn't expect to love it. And yeah, because the movie, for the most part, it starts as a very standard Marvel movie, as something you would expect from Marvel, as something with, him doing some stuff. And then when we get to the Doctor Strange stuff, that's kind of out of the ordinary. It's still not as interesting. It's still not as captivating. And then we get into the villains and stuff. And I do like this. I like the beginning. I like the opening. I like how we get effects and how there's serious effects on Peter's life. But it's not at a great point yet. It's at a good point. It's got a good start going, And then we see the effects that Peter Parker being revealed as Spider-Man happens. And he does have this issue where Charlie Cox kind of comes in and does solve a lot of things. I think those could have... that it just kind of felt like Charlie Cox came in and then solved everything. And I think that's a problem with the movie. That's a big issue, in my opinion. That just holds it back from being a 5 out of 5. But there's still effects. There's still effects to him now being revealed as Peter Parker, that Peter Parker Spider-Man. And I think J.K. Simmons does a really good job in this movie, He's really memorable, and just seeing him kind of destroy this boy's life in a way is sad, And then, of course, there's the unexpected thing. Well, spoilers alert, spoilers or whatever if you haven't seen No Way Home. But what are you doing if you haven't seen No Way Home? Go watch it. Then when Aunt May dies, it's one of my favorite Spider-Man moments because of how emotional it is. You could say the way that she dies is kind of dumb with the whole getting hit with the glider stuff. But when it does happen, it's surprisingly, shockingly sad. And I didn't expect something this emotional to happen in an MCU movie because they're normally cheesy, kind of corny, kind of fun, and they have decently serious moments, but not moments that are this well scripted out, moments that feel this real, that feel this more down to earth. And if it's crazy that I'm talking about how down to earth this movie is, even though it's in a multiverse film, that the scene, it's not this generic sad music where Peter's just looking sad. I actually saw how great of an actor Tom Holland could be in that scene. How broken he felt. How broken Peter, felt as a person. I've never really connected with this Peter Parker. I've never really felt anything he's truly felt until this scene. Until this scene, I was able to understand Peter Parker. I was able to sympathize with Peter Parker. This Peter Parker. I was able to sympathize with Tom Holland's Peter Parker more than I think I ever have. More than I think that scene in Homecoming when he's under the roof and he's becoming Spider-Man again. And that is something special. That is something that I adore so much about this movie. When that happens, after we're about halfway through the movie, after that all that's happened, after Peter Parker has basically lost everything in his life and is still crying, I think that's something great about it, is because you can see in his eyes once he sees Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield that he's still broken. He's still, he's still trying to recover from this. And I think seeing that happen It makes it feel a little bit more real. And then seeing Toby and Andrew trying to help him, trying to teach him that great power does come great responsibility, and that he needs to learn this, you know, and that he needs to learn and understand that, and not have this get to him so much, and not have him, be consumed by hatred and anger. And this is stuff that hasn't been explored with this MCU Spider-Man that much. That feeling of responsibility and regret and loss. This is stuff that kind of wasn't Far From Home, but wasn't executed very well. And seeing it executed almost perfectly here, seeing it executed so well in this movie makes me proud. Makes me proud that they were able to do something so good. And when that happens, when we see the thing is, I feel like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, people could say they were kind of just added in for fan service, and they kind of were. But the way they were written in made them had a purpose, It made them help it's to help Tom Holland's Peter Parker to keep moving forward, To motivate him to keep moving forward, even if the world seems against you. Even when you feel like you've lost everything, you still got to keep moving forward and keep moving past everything and keep just trying to survive, I guess, in a way. And seeing these two motivate him to do that, seeing them motivate him to become that person, to become Spider-Man, and seeing them after the things they've had to go through in their lives and how we've seen them in previous movies go through, it really hits. It really feels good, It doesn't feel like they're in here for cheap gags. And even when there are gags, they're not terrible or anything. They're not corny Marvel jokes all the time. They're just fun, entertaining jokes that I think actually work decently for once. And Marvel never breaks the tension with this movie, weirdly enough. You'd think that they would. You think they would try to break tension with a pointless, corny joke here and there. But they never do that. And I love that about this movie. I love that it shows Marvel can make good movies. They just have to stop making the same mistakes over and over again. This was a great film. I love this movie. I am excited for the MCU Spider-Man for once. And I'm also excited for the future of Marvel because of this film. No Way Home on number 1, let's go. Yeah, I haven't seen other movies, but it's the favorite other one I've seen, for sure. Still a good movie, but I like Tobey Maguire, man. Still a good Spider-Man movie, but I like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Yeah, I like him too, but it's like, I think I actually like Tom Holland's Spider-Man now, and I like the way he's heading, especially that ending. The ending was great. Man of Steel was alright. Really enjoyed Batman vs. Superman and Wonder Woman. Shazam was good. It was good. TSS was good. And Aquaman was good. No Way Home is the best MCU movie since Endgame. I don't really like Endgame. I've said it before. I think there's great things about that movie, but I don't love Endgame. For me, it's the best movie since Infinity War, I'd say. No Way Home is the main reason why I love this character. Far From Home was so bad that this movie came out. It was amazing. Agreed. The anime death scene was so sad, but to see Tom Holland react to death, I cried, and I saw it 3 times. I mean, yeah, I didn't cry, but it's such an emotional scene, J. Jonah Jameson is actually a character that I really like. He has a point about Spider-Man instead of him being mad at Spider-Man all the time. Fair enough. Seeing Tobey and Peter and hearing the famous line, bro, this movie is fantastic. It's a great movie. I really do like it. I agree. Jonah in that scene in the rain is beautiful. Yeah, it's great. People don't understand why Channing Zendaya's character from Dune was only in it for 7 minutes. I mean, she was marketed heavily in the trailer, though. Like, she was marketed way too heavy. They shouldn't have put her in that so much. No Way Home over DC Fandom 2021. I mean, I haven't seen DC fandom, but if we're talking about the DC movies that were released in 2021, yeah, it's better. But I mean, I don't know. I still think DC had a great year. I really want to see an Andrew Garfield movie. We're probably never going to get one. Sorry, but I don't think we're ever going to get an Amazing Spider-Man 3. I saw Kingsman last Monday, and I really truly enjoyed it. I don't understand why people hated it. I don't know. I don't watch Kingsman. I'm so glad you're back into liking Marvel again. Yeah, No Way Home is the reason why so far. And that's the thing. I've always liked Marvel. It's just recent Marvel, you know? Just what they've done recently I don't like. Yeah, don't listen to people who crap on the MCU. I mean, sometimes they have a valid point, though, you know? Like, why does it matter, you know? Like, I mean, why should it, I feel like people that just kind of have others as, like, haters or whatever. Like, of course, there's going to be people, there's always, like, people that will hate something no matter what. But then there's people that just dislike it for a reason, you know? And I've disliked it for a reason sometimes. I just like JJ being angry at Spider-Man for no reason in the Raimi version. It just makes my day better. Yeah, it's always funny. Free Guy was my second favorite movie this year. Well, good for you. Haven't seen it. The ending in No Way Home was a very bad choice because they could have went with the alternative ending, which sounds meh. It was a very bold choice. Yeah, they could have just went with the generic happy, sappy ending. And I think the ending they chose, it was a little bit more bold and something I wasn't expecting. And I overall liked that. So, yeah, I think we're going to end it here. This was a long video. But, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Maybe I'll do something else this weekend. Bye.